Hi everyone. Let's begin with today's most important chapter in accounts, consolidation. Okay. It has got a lot of weightage in your accounts part A. So I will request you all to do this chapter and keep it ready. Okay. More of the practicals MCQ are to be asked from this chapter. Okay. Important chapter in your part A of accounts. Part A. Okay. Now I'll make this chapter really simple and really interesting for you all. Okay. It's one of the very interesting chapter, one of my favorite chapters. Now, when I'm talking about consolidation, okay, basically I'm talking about two balance sheets and two P&Ls added together. Okay. So I'm talking about addition of statements, okay, of final accounts. So I'm going to add my profit and loss account and my balance sheet and show it in the form of consolidation. Now, which type of companies would have to prepare a consolidated balance sheet as per Company Act 2013? Okay. The best example is holding company, holding and subsidiary. Okay. They have to prepare their standalone statements. Standalone statements have to be there. Okay. So both holding and subsidiary company have to prepare their standalone statements, financial statements. Along with that, they have to also prepare consolidated statements. Okay, consolidated statements. Okay, compulsory as per Company Act 2013, it is mandatory. Okay, in the books of holding company and also in the books of subsidiary company. Now, what is a holding and subsidiary company relationship? Okay, a holding company, if you say, is said to be holding if it is having more than 50% stake in another company. So that another company is known as subsidiary company. Okay, when one company holds more than 50% stake in another company, then that other company, I will say that other company is the subsidiary company, and the one which holds the stake is known as the holding company. Okay, now one interesting example we'll take. Say suppose, now obviously this holding and subsidiary, how they became holding and subsidiary? Holding company has basically done investment. Okay, has done investment in subsidiary company. Correct. So they have holding majority of stake in the subsidiary company, either in form of shares or voting rights, etc. Okay. So they have done the investment in the subsidiary company here. So if I tell you today that the holding company, okay, the holding company has done an investment, mean buying investments in the subsidiary company. So obviously, when you buy, you have to pay a purchase consideration, cost of investment. Purchase consideration bolo, या cost of investment bolo. Cost of investment. Okay, the net worth of subsidiary company is say 100 crores, but holding company has paid 120 crores. Okay, so this additional of 20 crores, which is paid by the holding company for the investment in subsidiary company, this additional 20 crores is nothing but it is as if paid for the goodwill of subsidiary. So in the books of holding company, it will be shown as 20 crore rupees paid extra. So where will I account my this 20 crores? I'll account it with my goodwill. It's like a purchase of goodwill. Okay. But say if the holding company happens to pay for their investments to subsidiary company rupees 80 crores, whereas the net worth stands at rupees 100 crores. So there is a profit when you see from the holding company point of view of rupees 20 crores, which is one-time profit, which is capital in nature. It is a capital asset, capital investments. Okay, this is known as capital profit. Therefore, this is accounted with the help of capital reserve account. Okay, one-time profit only. It's known as one-time profit. This I have explained you all quite a few times, even in my earlier lectures. Okay. Now, how do we do the accounting treatment of both these companies? Okay. See, basically, all the assets, okay, of holding company and of subsidiary company, we add. So we get the total to put it in our consolidation, consolidated balance sheet. All the liabilities of the holding company plus subsidiary company, again we add. So here we will get total assets of the consolidated balance sheet. Here also I'll get my total liability. So it is as simple as that. I have to just do the addition of the assets and of the liabilities, except of shareholders items. Okay. Shareholders items are to be divided between the holding company and the subsidiary company in the ratio of investment. Now I will tell you what does this mean. Okay, if I tell you today that holding company holds 80% stake in subsidiary company, that means the balance 20% is who? They are the minority interest. They are others. Okay, होल्डिंग कंपनी का 80% है तो बैलेंस 20% कहाँ गए? वो भी है सब्सिडरी कंपनी के साथ, उनको हम माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट बोलते हैं. ठीक है, तो जो भी शेयर होल्डर्स आइटम्स है, इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल, रिजर्व्स एंड सरप्लस, फिक्टिशियस एसेट्स, etc., whichever are the shareholders items. Okay, so we have shareholders items like, okay, in shareholders items we have share capital. Okay, then we have reserves and surplus, and we and fictitious assets. Okay, so subtract fictitious asset, whatever is the amount that we will divide between holding and the minority interest, holding company and the minority interest. Okay, why? Because the minority interest also has some stake in the same subsidiary company. So the shareholder items have to be treated. Now, which shareholder items am I talking about? I am talking about the shareholder items of subsidiary company. तो सब्सिडरी कंपनी का शेयर कैपिटल, सब्सिडरी कंपनी का रिजर्व्स एंड सरप्लस, एंड सब्सिडरी कंपनी का फिक्टिशियस एसेट्स. Okay, all these being the shareholders items have to be treated and then divided. Okay, now after dividing, basically I do what do I gain, dividing the shareholders items? Okay, I have to understand that when a holding company has done an investment at a given cost, okay, and the amount they have received, okay, and what all falls with them, the shareholders items which actually they have received, like share capital, reserves and surplus, unka jo bhi stake hai, okay, the amount which is actually there with them, with the help of investment cost, I will come to know whether there is a goodwill or there is a capital reserve. Okay, in order to ascertain that goodwill and that capital reserve, which I explained you all with the help of the net worth. Okay, in order to ascertain whether goodwill has been paid or capital reserve was gained by the holding company, I have to divide this entire shareholder items between holding and minority interest. शेयर होल्डर्स आइटम्स का मतलब क्या होता है, वो शेयर होल्डर को बिलोंग करते हैं। तो शेयर होल्डर यहाँ पे दो ही है, एक होल्डिंग कंपनी अपना शेयर होल्डर है, एक माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट अपना शेयर होल्डर है, तो दोनों में डिवाइड करेंगे। इन्वेस्टमेंट देखेंगे कि कितने कॉस्ट में होल्डिंग कंपनी ने लिया है और उसको उसके बदले में क्या मिल रहा है। Depending on that, we will see whether goodwill is generated or whether capital reserve is generated. Okay. Now, just taking you all to the little conceptual, idea of how we will be finding this goodwill or this capital reserve. Say, for example, okay, on 9th of March 2015, okay, I bought one share, only one share, of rupees 700. Okay, and after I bought, no, before I bought, and dividend on this share was declared before buying. Okay, and the dividend amount was rupees 100. So I can ideally say that my cost of investment is not rupees 700. It is 700 minus 100, which is 600 rupees. This will be my, ideally, this will be my cost of investment. Okay. Dividend was declared before I entered, before I bought. Okay. So it is known as pre-acquisition. Similarly, if dividend was declared, if dividend was given, okay, after I buy. Okay. So here now, my cost of investment will remain 700 only, but I will have a profit. Okay, a profit of rupees 100 because dividend is given afterwards. So this profit is a post acquisition profit. Okay, so generally anything which is a post acquisition profit, I put it in my profit and loss account, simple. And whatever is my pre-acquisition, okay, I put it in my investment account. If you will understand these two things, no, investment account and profit and loss account, your consolidation will get over. Okay. Now all these shareholders items which I am talking about of the subsidiary companies, shareholders items. Okay. They have to be divided between holding company and the minority interest. But along with that, I also have to see whether it was pre-acquisition, especially the profits, or post-acquisition, after I acquired. If it is post, there is nothing to worry. Directly it will go in my P&L account. P&L account of holding company. Post, after the holding company came. But if anything is pre, I'll have to open a separate account known as investment account to check whether I have gained capital reserve or whether I have a cost of goodwill. Okay, I will give you a table in which I will tell you which items are pre, which items are to be treated as post. Depending on that, you should know on fingertips, okay, that if it is a pre-acquisition item, it will hit an investment account. If it is a post-acquisition item, it will hit the P&L account. So here in the entire consolidation, to make our sums very simple, we are going to make 3 ledgers. Okay. 3 ledgers में first investment account, second P&L account, and the third one will be the minority interest account. Okay, all these accounts, all these ledgers, I'm going to make it in the books of holding company. But I'm going to treat the items, okay, treatment of shareholders items of subsidiary company. बस ये इतना तुम्हें याद रखना है. ओके, ये ध्यान रखना है. 3 ledgers: investment account, P&L account, minority interest account in the books of the holding company. And what are we going to treat? We are going to treat the shareholders items of subsidiary company. अभी मैम कैसे पता चलेगा कौन सा प्री है कौन सा पोस्ट है? माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट के लिए प्री और पोस्ट की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है हमें. इन्वेस्टमेंट अकाउंट के लिए प्री एंड P&L अकाउंट के लिए पोस्ट. इसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग चाहिए हमें. ठीक है, तो सी नाउ I'll make a table. Particulars of subsidiary company. Okay, holding company and minority interest. Okay, table. In particulars of subsidiary company, I'm starting with profit and loss account. Say suppose I start with the profit and loss account of subsidiary company. If they have given me that this profit and loss account was pre, they will give me. So if it is pre, it will hit my investment account. But if they have told me that this is post, then it will hit my profit and loss account. Profit and loss, P&L जो रहता है ना, profit and loss of that year P&L account में डालते हैं. reserves and surplus का एक type है ये, general reserve P&L, ये वही है. और minority interest, here it will be in investment account credit side, P&L account credit side. Why? Because it's a profit. And in minority interest ऐसा pre post कुछ नहीं होता है, तो minority interest account credit side. That's it. It's as simple as that. So one shareholder item is over. Second, equity share capital. Now equity share capital is always pre. वहां पे पोस्ट कोई सवाल ही नहीं होता. It is always pre. Since it is pre, it will hit the investment account credit side and minority interest account also credit side. Number 3, preliminary expenses, fictitious. Preliminary expenses पहले का जो कंपनी बनाने के लिए जो भी लगता है, preliminary expenses always pre. So it's going to hit my investment account. Since it's a loss, it's an expense, debit side, and minority interest account also debit side. Okay, then we have revaluation reserve. Revaluation reserve. For revaluation reserve, I always assume that this reserve is for those assets or is on those assets, okay, which were already existing with subsidiary company. Okay, तो होल्डिंग कंपनी के आने की वजह से इसके लिए रीवैल्यूएशन रिजर्व है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. हाँ, क्योंकि होल्डिंग कंपनी आ रही थी तो हमने रीवैल्यू करवाए हमारे एसेट्स. नो, करवाए होंगे, नो डाउट, बट revaluation reserve always is a pre because it's of those assets which are already existing with the subsidiary company. So this is also always pre. Since it is pre, it will hit the investment account credit side and minority interest account credit side. Am I clear so far? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, now if you go to see, everything is pre except P&L. तो यानी हमें कहाँ पे ध्यान देना है? सिर्फ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट में. देन यू आर डन. So in profit and loss account, what we will take care of, how we will come to know if they have not given whether this profit is pre and whether this profit is post. Here we will see the date of acquisition. Okay, date of acquisition means the date on which the holding company invested in the subsidiary company. Say suppose date of acquisition is not given, then it is assumed, in many cases they will not give you, and then it is assumed to be the first day of that financial year, of the financial year. That means it is 1st of April. All right. Then I'm writing about the split of shareholders items of subsidiary company has to be done in the ratio of investment. Okay. So example, holding company's ratio is 80%, then minority interest ratio will now become 20%. Okay. Now it may so happen, okay, that holding company and subsidiary company have some mutual owing, यानी एक buyer है तो दूसरा seller है, एक debtor है तो ये creditor है. Holding और subsidiary company में already ये relationship चल रहा है. Okay, so that is known as concept of mutual owing. Okay, now what is this concept of mutual owing? If it is there, then what do we do when we prepare consolidated balance sheet? Then what happens? So say if holding company has to receive some amount from subsidiary company, or it is vice versa. Okay, it is called as mutual owing. Okay, and thus it will be cancelled from both the books. It will be cancelled from both the books. Okay, of the company. All right, this is the concept of mutual owing. Okay, now if there is a mismatch, if there is a mismatch, okay, in the mutual owing figures, then the least of the amount will be cancelled. Okay, this we will see as and when we will move, from one question to another. Right now I'm giving you those notes which are important for the sums which we will be doing right now today. Okay, in this lecture. Say suppose if the date of P&L reserve is not given. Okay, the date is also not given and they are not telling us whether it is pre or post. Then it is assumed to be pre. Okay. Next, if the acquisition is on the first day, of the year, of that financial year, then maybe they will give you two balances, opening balance. Okay, opening balance will become pre, and if they give you closing balance, then wo kuch bhi pre and post nahi hoga. We have to treat the current year's profit. So opening will be pre and current year's profit will be post. Okay, so they will give you opening balance, they will give you closing also. We will find the current year's profit with the help of opening and closing. So opening will be always pre. Current years will become post, not closing balance. Okay. And say suppose if the acquisition is on the last date of the year, then the entire reserve will be pre, obviously will be pre before I came. Okay. So up till now, all clear? Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's check up one sum. Yes.
Ma'am, can you please explain me the fourth point again? I did not understand.
Let's move. Okay, I'm solving question number 2 first. From the following balance sheet of H Limited and S Limited is on 31st March 2007. We are supposed to prepare the consolidated balance sheet. Okay. They are saying P&L of S Limited showed a balance of rupees 50,000 on 1st of April 2006. Now looking at my balance sheet itself, my shareholders items are share capital, then general reserve, profit and loss account. So basically I have to just treat these 3 items. Bills payable, I will add. Creditors, I will add. Okay, pay attention and listen. Goodwill, I will add. Other fixed assets also I will add. Look at this. 1500 shares in S Limited at cost. H Limited is having an investment in S Limited. So H Limited का asset है ये. So 1500 shares दे दिया है. कितने है shares S Limited में? 1500 shares. उसका cost कितना है? 2,40,000. Okay. Stock I will add. Debtors also I will add, and cash in bank also I will add. Okay. Now the P&L of S Limited has shown a balance of rupees 50,000 on 1st of April. This is 31st of March 2007. We have P&L of S Limited also. So we will have to treat this item as well. Okay. So let's begin. Okay. Okay, question number 1. No, I'm sorry. This is question number 2. First, date of acquisition. Now, date of acquisition is not given to me anywhere in the sum. Okay, so I will assume it to be the first date of the year. So, date of acquisition will be 1st of April 2006. Okay. Second, subsidiary company has how many shares the subsidiary company have? S Limited. They have 2 lakh rupees shares of rupees 100 each. Okay, so subsidiary companies share capital, equity share capital is equal to rupees 2 lakhs divided by 100. That is 2000 shares. Out of this 2000 shares, 1200 shares are held by holding company. Therefore, the balance 800 shares are of the minority interest. So, what is the ratio? 1200 divided by 2000%. Correct?
Yes.
2:3.
It is 1200 or 1500?
1500.
Okay, thank you. So it is 1500. Huh? So it is 75% and 25%. Right? So now I have got my ratio that anything I will divide, I have to divide between 75% and 25% divide करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? तो ये ratio मिल गया. Now I will start treating the shareholder items of subsidiary company. सबसे पहला शेयर होल्डर आइटम है इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल 2 lakhs. चलो, okay, so equity share capital of subsidiary company is equal to rupees 2 lakhs. Divide this between holding company and minority interest. Okay, so 75% means 1,50,000. This will be 50,000. This will go in the credit side of minority interest account, and equity share capital is always free. This will go in investment account credit side. बराबर हो गया. एक शेयर होल्डर्स आइटम खत्म. Now is general reserve. It is not 1996, 2006. Okay, so general reserve of subsidiary is 60,000 rupees. Date दिया ही है. General reserve of subsidiary company 60,000. Okay, the date is given as 1st of April 2006. It is pre only. Pre, I also came on that day only. तो इसके पहले का ही होगा ना ये general reserve, right? So since it is pre, I'll divide this between holding company and minority interest. Okay, 75% and 25%. So this will come as rupees 45,000 and this will be 15,000. Since it is pre-investment account credit side, this will be in the credit side of the minority interest account. Okay, so second item is also done. Now the last profit and loss account of subsidiary is 90,000. That is as on 31st of March 2007. But when the opening balance is given to me, I have to understand that this opening has to be pre. Okay, so let's take this sixth one. Okay, profit and loss account. Opening balance is given to me as rupees 50,000. How I came to know its opening balance? They have given me the date. Closing balance is equal to what is given in the balance sheet. 90,000. Barabar? Rupees 90,000. As on which date it was? 31st of March 2007. ठीक है, तो अभी इसको कैसे करेंगे? प्री है, पोस्ट है, कैसे समझेगा? तो एकदम सिंपल. देखो, ये 1st of April 2006, rupees 50,000. When my year closed on 31st of March, I am standing at rupees 90,000. Okay, so basically my current year's profit is equal to 40,000. Correct? So divide this current year into holding company and minority interest. ठीक है, holding company का आएगा कुछ 30,000 and this will be 10,000. So current year's profit is always post. Since it is post, it will go in P&L account credit side and this will go in minority interest account credit side. And the pre-profit, opening is always pre. Okay. So this 50,000 I'll divide between holding and minority interest. So I'm going to get 37,500 and this will be 12,500. Since it is free, it will go in my investment account credit side and this will go in my minority interest account credit side. This minority interest and this minority interest, I can directly total it and write it in their account. Okay, so the total is going to become 22,500 minority interest account credit side. Are you all clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood the concept up till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now what do I do after making all this, these working notes? I prepare ledgers. Okay, so in the books of holding company, okay, the first ledger, I'll prepare only 3 ledgers. Okay, so I will have my investment account, छोटा छोटा ledgers है, ऐसा कोई तुम्हें कुछ एकदम से amount, debit, credit ऐसे कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. You can just make it in rough only, since now you all don't have to solve. Okay, investment account, then you will make one P&L account, okay, and one minority interest account. All right, let's start. Now investment account, if you see the cost 2,40,000 hai, so I will write to balance brought down 2,40,000. ओके, किसकी बुक्स कर रहे हो अभी? मैं होल्डिंग कंपनी की. हाँ, याद रखो. P&L कितना है होल्डिंग कंपनी का? 1,40,000. सो बाय बैलेंस ब्रॉट डाउन 1,40,000. माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट का कोई बैलेंस नहीं होता है, बस इसी 2 अकाउंट के बैलेंस रहे. अभी कुछ नहीं करना है मुझे, यहाँ से सिर्फ लेना है मेरे शेयर होल्डर्स आइटम्स में से. होल्डिंग कंपनी का देखो, यहाँ पे इन्वेस्टमेंट अकाउंट क्रेडिट साइड है 1,50,000, माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट भी है 50,000. तो जस्ट सिंपल, आई हैव टू जस्ट टेक इट हियर. बाय इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल, किसका इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल? सब्सिडरी कंपनी का 1,50,000. सिर्फ पोस्टिंग करनी है, लाइक इट इज दैट मैनुअल वर्क. बाय इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल सब्सिडरी कंपनी 50,000. हो गया एक शेयर होल्डर्स आइटम खत्म. सेकेंड जनरल रिजर्व है. ओके, इन्वेस्टमेंट अकाउंट में 45,000 होल्डिंग कंपनी का, माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट का 15,000. सो बाय जनरल रिजर्व किसका? सब्सिडरी कंपनी 45. माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट को कितना मिलेगा? 15,000. हो गया, सेकेंड भी खत्म. अभी लास्ट P&L. P&L का पहले प्री कर लेते हैं. होल्डिंग कंपनी में कितना है? 37,500. सो बाय P&L ऑफ सब्सिडरी कंपनी का, होल्डिंग को मिल रहा है 37,500, और जो करंट है उसमें होल्डिंग कंपनी को मिल रहा है 30,000. दैट विल गो इन P&L अकाउंट क्रेडिट साइड. सो बाय P&L ऑफ सब्सिडरी कंपनी, that is how much? 30,000. एंड माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट का तो मैंने टोटल बनाया ही है, तो डायरेक्टली बाय P&L ऑफ सब्सिडरी कंपनी 22,500. okay, now I will just close my ledgers. When I will close, I'll come to know whether there is goodwill or whether there is capital reserve. This is debit, this is credit. Okay, so 2,40,000 minus 1,50,000 minus 45,000 minus 37,500. 7,500 I'm getting. So it is by goodwill 7,500. Okay, so the debit side, the cost is more. Cost at what investment is made is more than their worth. So I'm getting goodwill. P&L will be closing it simply like this. 1,70,000 पे close होगा ना? Okay, 1,70,000. So to balance, carry forward. कहाँ पे लेके जाऊंगी मैं ये balance? My balance sheet, consolidated balance sheet अभी बनेगा. Okay, and in my minority interest the total is 50,000 plus 15,000 plus 22,500, 87,500. Okay, to balance, carried forward 87,500. Okay, so now all this I'm going to take it in my consolidated balance sheet, and rest all the other items I will add. ठीक है यहाँ तक? Goodwill, P&L and minority interest तीनों भी. Huh? Now see the balance sheet. I'm not going to make the complete full balance sheet of, you know, what do you say? I'm not going to make the full complete balance sheet. Like, I'll just take the important items and I will make it. Okay, so balance sheet, write the heading consolidated balance sheet of holding company and subsidiary company. Okay, we'll have particulars, note, amount and amount. Okay, this is the format. In particulars, first we start with part A is equity and liabilities. In equity and liabilities, first one is shareholders funds. In shareholders funds, share capital and reserves and surplus. Okay. Second, here only you can write minority interest also. Okay, otherwise you can take as 1 minute. Take here non-current liabilities में तुम्हें तो बनाना नहीं है, सिर्फ मैं बता रही हूँ. You have long-term borrowings and you will have minority interest here. Okay. And the third one will be current liabilities. Okay. Current liabilities mein you have generally got trade payables. This is generally there in our consolidation. So I'm just taking those items. Okay. तो reserves and surplus के लिए एक note बनाना पड़ेगा हमेशा. And for these others you will have to make notes like current liabilities and all that. So I'll get my total. Part B is going to be assets. In assets, the first one we have non-current assets. In non-current assets, first we have is A, fixed assets. In fixed assets, we have tangible, intangible. Okay. And we also have non-current investments. And the second part in the assets is current assets. In current assets, we have inventories, stock, inventories, debtors, and cash equivalents. Okay. So this is going to give me the total here. Okay. So now okay, let's see this. Okay, now in the shareholders items, first one is the share capital. Okay, in the share capital, I will write only the share capital of holding. ठीक है, because subsidiary का तो हमने division कर दिया, समझ के लो, तो सिर्फ holding का ही लिखूंगी मैं. तो होल्डिंग का कितना है 5 lakhs. But reserves and surplus, I will have to make a note. Okay, so you can write a note over here. Reserves and surplus में note 1. Reserves and surplus. होल्डिंग कंपनी का रिजर्व्स एंड सरप्लस में देखेंगे तो जनरल रिजर्व भी है, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट भी है बराबर, लेकिन प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट का लेजर बना है, तो जनरल रिजर्व इज इक्वल टू 1 लाख एंड प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट का वी विल टेक द बैलेंस 1,70,000 है कि नहीं, तो हो गया मेरा ये नोट. So this will come to total 2,70,000. ठीक है, so I'll write here 2,70,000. So this will be giving me a total of 7,70,000. Okay, long term borrowings कुछ है नहीं है. Minority interest directly लिख लो 87,500. Okay, we are not supposed to take this general reserve and this P&L of S. We have already treated. Now in current liabilities, I have bills payable and creditors. ठीक है, करंट लायबिलिटीज में बिल्स पेबल एंड क्रेडिटर्स. सो ट्रेड पेबल्स का एक वर्किंग नोट बना लो. नोट वर्किंग नोट नहीं, इसको नोट्स टू अकाउंट्स बोलते हैं. नोट्स ट्रेड पेबल्स इज बोथ ओके, क्रेडिटर्स प्लस बिल्स पेबल. सो क्रेडिटर्स टोटल लेना दोनों का 80 प्लस 50 1,30,000. बिल्स पेबल भी दोनों का, लेकिन एक का नहीं है तो ओनली 40. सो इट विल बी 1,70,000. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे लिखो 1,70,000. अभी करो इसका टोटल. इट विल कम एज 1 लाख 10,27,500. ओके, नाउ देयर इज नॉन करंट एसेट्स में फिक्स्ड एसेट्स है. ठीक है, फिक्स्ड एसेट्स में टैंजिबल, वो नोट नंबर दे दो, नोट नंबर 2 हो गया, अभी नोट नंबर 3. ओके, नोट 3 tangible assets. In tangible assets we have other fixed assets ही है सिर्फ. ओके, so we have 3,60,000 plus 2,20,000. 3,60,000 plus 2,20,000. So we will get 5,80,000. तो लिख लो यहाँ पे 5,80,000 tangible में. Okay, now intangible means goodwill, trademark, etc. So goodwill 40 plus 30 है ही, note 4 intangible. Okay, note 4 intangible में we have 40,000 plus 30,000. ओके, और एक भी है, हमें अभी जब सॉल्व किया ना तब 7,500 आया था ना, तो वो भी ऐड करना पड़ेगा, वो भूल मत जाना. ये जो है ना ये इम्पोर्टेंट है, ये भूल गए तो खत्म. तो अभी ये कितना आएगा, इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स विल बी 77,500. ओके, सो डायरेक्टली राइट ओवर हियर number 4 77,500. We do not have any non-current investment, so the total is 6,57,500. ठीक है, now the rest inventories, debtors and cash equivalents directly add and write. So stock will be 1,75,000. Don't waste your time. Okay, 1,75,000. Then debtors is 95,000. And cash equivalent will be 1 lakh. Okay, so just put the total here in the outside column. It will be 3,70,000. So basically 6,57,500 plus 3,70,000 will again give you 10,27,500. It has tallied. All right. Understood the sum? Okay, now you all must be thinking, why is ma'am giving us so much of solving of the balance sheet and etc. I know from your MCQ point of view, this balance sheet is not important, right? But you know, they might just give you what is the total amount of goodwill to be put in the consolidated balance sheet. Okay, तो ये एक बार समझ में आएगा तो then you will always keep this in your mind. So if I tell you what is the total goodwill amount of my consolidated balance sheet, you will have to add of both the companies. Plus you have to also remember if in case you have got goodwill in your ledger, you could have got goodwill here. अगर यहाँ पे आता था तो capital reserve होता था. Capital reserve होता ना तो reserves and surplus में जाता. ये ध्यान रखना है हमें. दूसरा सब तो बहुत सिंपल है. शेयर कैपिटल ऑफ ओनली होल्डिंग कंपनी है कि नहीं. Reserves and surplus में of the holding company, and if in case you have got capital reserve, rest everything is only addition. But your MCQs are, you know, they are directed only like that, that find the amount of minority interest, find the amount of goodwill generated, okay, etc. So one sum, if I will do like this, you will always remember how to make a balance sheet and what all is seen in the balance sheet. Okay, so now the next sums which I will be doing, I will be solving everything, but the balance sheet I will just send you a picture. You can have a look at it. You will understand with the help of the solution. Okay. Now the next one, next question. From the balance sheet given below, prepare consolidated balance sheet of X Limited and its subsidiary Y Limited. Okay. So पहले दिया है balance sheet of X Limited है ये. Freehold premises. Okay. So this is the total of X Limited and then this is of Y Limited. Now they are saying that the date of acquisition of X in for the holding of 2000 shares in Y. तो दे दिया है, तो यहाँ पे भी तुम्हें दिखेगा. देखो, shares in X Limited का balance sheet में तुम्हें हमेशा investment में दिखेगा. Shares in the subsidiary company at cost, 2000 shares at ₹10 each. Okay. In the Y Limited, the latter company had a credit of ₹6,000 in its P&L account. Y Limited had a credit of ₹6,000 in its P&L account. Means you are saying this is the opening P&L. Okay, I am giving you all this sum as a homework. It is in the same way like how I solve this question number 2. So I expect you all to practice. Am I making myself clear? Okay, so then tomorrow I'll see you with the other adjustments, okay, which has to be done, and the dividend part of the declaration of dividend and payment of dividend by subsidiary company. Okay, thank you so much everyone.
Thank you.